tough crowd. Let me tell you what, you guys are really something. Yeah, I think it's going to come out down here, so here we go.
Let's take a look at what might happen under extreme high tide conditions. Extreme high tides can cause water to back up into storm drains and spill onto roadways. If the wind is blowing the water toward the coast, or if rain is falling, the flooding becomes worse. Traffic must be diverted, and businesses temporarily close, resulting in lost revenue. In the worst case, structural damages can occur.
So we've had some extreme high tide conditions around here, and you say, well, we live inland, how did we have extreme high tide conditions around here? There's a little bit more about sea level rise, we're going to get into it.
With sea level rise, flooding will impact coastal communities more frequently. Over the past 100 years, tide gauges have shown that sea levels have risen the equivalent of nearly half a foot to over 2 feet in some locations. As sea levels continue to rise, flooding at high tides will occur much more frequently and over a greater inland area. How are high tides, rainfall, and sea levels impacting your community? Tidal flooding may already be a problem in your area. Is your community ready?
Is your community ready? By a show of hands, are we ready for sea level rise and tidal flooding?
No, we're not ready at all.
We're not ready at all. We're getting ready. Let me just, Michelle has been involved in a study with the city of Virginia Beach, and we're in the study phase, and then it's going into, what's the next phase after study?
More study.
I don't want to speak too much for the study, but what they've done is the risk assessment side of it, like to see where the risk is the worst, and the phase they're going into is looking at projects now.
Yeah, sure.
Hi everybody doing? My name is Aaron Rouse. I'm running for city council near Virginia Beach at large. You know, I'm from here, I'm a lifelong resident here, lived in the oceanfront. You know, I think it's time, I think people want to know, what are we going to actually do about it? I mean, it's raining, it's flooding. I mean, the science behind it is solid, we understand that. But what is the city going to do about it? I propose we take action now. We need to go in and drain these canals to get rid of the clogging issues and redo this plumbing. We need to go in there in the sewers and redo these pipes, because a lot of the times the water came up through people's floors because the pipes were over 60, 70 years old. There's no more time to keep doing studying and waiting 15 years to do something about it. We need to do it now, because we live in tide water. It's always going to rain, it's always going to flood. Sea level is something we can't control, none of us here is God. But at the same time, we can be proactive and get ahead of this. And that's what I propose once we get on council, we start doing this, making sure we listen to you and do something about it here, instead of just keep waiting and doing all these tests.
Well, and that's, we're going to get in, we want to get into some of that.
10 years ago, in fact, they repaved the streets a little too high, we couldn't get in our driveways, it was terrible. But we do
respectful people, but a lot of time for this presentation.
Okay.
Questions for later.
All right, hey, let's just calm down.
Don't be hostile toward me. I
Hey, come on, hey. Let's just calm down, guys. Let's just calm down. Let's just calm down, okay? You're right, they have done some work and it didn't work. We did a presentation about that at the Tea Party meeting back in September, where the city of Virginia Beach invested millions of dollars into Windsor Woods, and yet I still flooded. Over the course of my lifetime, they invested millions and millions of dollars into our area, and I still flooded. Right, so as we move along, we've got some solutions at the end I want to hear from you about. I do want to hear from you at the end about what we're going to talk about at the end, because boy, have I got something for you to see at the end that we've been talking about. So, I'm going to tell you about another problem, tidal flooding in Windsor Woods, okay? We're going to talk about how are we tidal? Well, we've got Chesapeake Bay up here, comes down into the Lynn Haven, follows around down here into Thalia Creek. Remember, Thalia Creek comes right here, remember that body of water, Lake Trashmore, and then comes out into the Presidential Canal. The Presidential Canal is a tidal canal. Also, over here on this side, you got it from Chesapeake Bay, comes into Lynn Haven, comes down West Neck Creek, and West Neck Creek is a tidal creek. So we are surrounded by the tide, even though we're 10 miles, the ocean front is 10 miles from my apartment over here in Burnham Farms. And the Chesapeake Bay is, what did I say earlier, Bob? It's like 13 miles, 11 miles north of me. And the Elizabeth River in Norfolk's about 13 miles to my west. And Back Bay is about 12, 13 miles to my south. So I'm miles away from water, but yet I'm still surrounded by tidal waters. So Windsor Woods in Princess Anne Plaza is surrounded by tidal waters. It affects us. And what is this mess? This is a picture off the city website. These are all of the storm water mains in Windsor Woods and Princess Anne Plaza. And I wanted to show you this so you could see that when these tidal waters get backed up, where do they go? Where do they keep going back into? They go into your stormwater mains. And your stormwater mains is that little thing in the gutter on the street. This little rectangular section. It's not the round one in the middle of the street. That's your sewage. It's the rectangular one on the side of the street. That's your stormwater main. That's your inlet for stormwater. And all of those, when the tidal waters come in, they get backed up into that.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Roundabout where Bow Creek Golf Course?
Bow Creek Golf Course is right here.
Okay.
This is Bow Creek. So you've got, I'm sorry, this is a kind of a difficult map to see. This is Rosemont Road right through here. And this is South Plaza Trail. So it's a little bit hard to see with all of those on there like that. But this is just an example to let you see that these tidal waters that flow up to the Chesapeake Bay, which Michelle was talking about, if the wind blows the right way, it's going to come into our neighborhood.
Well, it's like there's a lot less flowing in your area than there is in some of the others that I see all around it.
Well, there are engineering reasons for that that are beyond my knowledge at this time. Right, yeah. So that's that. I just wanted you to see that. And we're going to talk a little bit about just showing you how it's tidal. Okay, this right here is 264? All right. You want to talk about it? Right, yeah.
Okay, when you go to Mount Trashmore, just before one of the little parking areas there, you will see water that goes underneath the roadway. And that used to be Southern Boulevard there. And the interstate's right on the other side of the fence. South Boulevard. Okay, sorry.
Right over here. It's South Boulevard.
So the water from Lake Windsor, where all our water drains to from Windsor Woods area, goes out. There's 3 little holes right there, underneath the interstate and out into Dahlia Creek. That's the only escape that it has.
That's the interstate right there. So we're going to show you this video of the tide coming in to Lake Windsor. See it moving in? It's coming in. It's coming from the north into us. That's the tide moving in. There's I-264.
20 times when that's dry, I used to run through that.
Yeah, when my wife, actually, her family moved to one of the first houses in Windsor Woods. It was still dirt roads. And she had 3 horses, and they were over on the other side on Bonnie Road at the stable. She used to ride her horses through there, and it wasn't even wet then.
Yeah.
So, they just go through the culvert. They called it.
These are the culverts. These are what these call them.
Right.
This is South Boulevard. This is just another video of watching the tide come in.
It's full of water all the time, and as a matter of fact, it just like a lot of times the water's high up, so it doesn't have that much more to go.
So there's
To fill up, so it's
Lake
gonna
Windsor
just
is
back
this way. There's Mount Trashmore over there. This is just an example for you to see that the tide does affect us.
And the city even said, the people that put this in was the VDOT from Virginia. They wish that these would be bigger.
Here's
But
one
right
more.
now they're not. It goes in and it goes out. on my street, which I'm right off Rosemont Road onto Old Forge and then Gladstone, we have seen ocean fish when it flooded on our street.
All right, this
Ocean fish.
is the same section, but this is when the tide has gone out. Look at that. See that line, that black line? The tide has gone out. Watch it. Watch how it moves the opposite. Remember, it was coming in, it was going this way, it was coming from up to down. Now watch it go out. It's moving this way now. Because it's going out. It's the same section of town. Okay? Again, there are those culverts. Here's I-264. And if you look, the tide has gone down. So it's just, we just want you to know how the tide is in our area. Being pretty redundant about it here, but I want you to get it. I want you to get it. There it is going out under I-264 up here.
See, they're about half full most of the time. So in the beginning, they had more capacity, but now they're pretty much outdated.
This, what you're talking about, was all engineered and everything before the houses were built.
Correct.
It was engineered for land that would absorb the water, and it wouldn't matter if it was flooded.
Correct.
Now we've got houses there, and they haven't upgraded this.
Correct.
This right here is one of the two problems that is a problem with this flood. This is a main problem for the flood at our place and across Rosemont Road. Going through the water, going through whatever creek that is. It's got the same problem that this has got. It's not got enough volume to go through there.
Correct.
And
There's a gentleman in the back.
And that's the whole problem because of our flooding. Granted, there's been 5-foot surges go through. I've seen the water come up as fast as you can move your hands. Come up behind there with a 5-foot flood surge. But this is not the problem with what we've had.
It's just a part of the problem. It's just a
Yeah.
part of the problem. If you read what we got here, identifying problems, there are several problems to why we have the flooding we have. We're not just talking about just Hurricane Matthew anymore here. This is not a meeting about Hurricane Matthew. This is a meeting about the problems in the area of Windsor Woods, more specifically Windsor Woods and some of it in Princess Anne Plaza. So this is just, there's so much information. God, there's just so much information to tell you. So much. So it's just all these problems, all this stuff, and we just have like a little teeny sliver of pie here. There's a gentleman in the back, please.
Yeah, about 3 or 4 years ago, I kayaked from the spit on Old Forge, Lake Windsor. I had ported into the culverts there on the highway and South Boulevard. On the other side of those, I went all the way to the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. And on the other side of those culverts, where the Thalia Creek is, was chock full, not just of like large refuse, like buggy carts for when you go shopping, but like trees that fall over, a bunch of concrete boulders back there. And honestly, I went at low tide and I couldn't get my kayak through, like I couldn't float it through that and pull it. So I mean, you said it's like half time it's full of water. I disagree. I think sometimes, it might be pretty high up there, but those are pretty massive culverts. I mean, they're not tiny. And when we talk about water flooding out, I think we all should realize when we have this storm surge, we have this rain and all this water, and specifically with Matthew wasn't one event. Matthew was the 3 weeks before,
Correct.
where we were flooded, we flooded out I think twice before. The water had nowhere to go.
Correct.
And it's not a matter of just the city unclogging culverts.
No, I mean,
It's a matter of
what we
we
talked
live
about
in the bottom of the Chesapeake Bay, at the drainage of the James River, and the Chesapeake Bay, and the Atlantic Ocean.
Well, one of the problems that we do have when we talk about the Civic League is people use these bodies of water as a dumping ground. It is not your dumping ground. Don't put your trees in there, don't put your shopping carts in there, don't put your bicycles in there. It's a body of water. Keep it clean. Get a truck, rent a truck, get a friend who's got a truck, get someone and take your trash and take it to where the trash is supposed to go. And then we won't have things like this yet. You can have a navigable waterway that don't have shopping cart buggies in it. And then let the city do their part in cutting some trees and all of that. So we're gonna move on to, I'm gonna give me that. So we're gonna move on to this problem here, which is what Bob was just talking about, the bottleneck of Lake Windsor. All right, we were talking about those culverts, we just showed them to you. What the heck's a bottleneck? Anybody know? Like straw, yeah. We'll take a bottle. There's a bottleneck right here. See it? The bottleneck. So we're going to talk about the bottleneck. What the heck about this bottleneck? Right there. This is a problem we've identified with the neighborhood as to why the water's going to back up. We've got right here Lake Windsor. That's what we're talking about. The water from Lake Windsor has to go somewhere. Where does it have to go? Into the bottleneck. Now, if you take all this water and you got to move it this way, do you think it moves really quickly or slowly? Right. So that's one of the problems, is the bottleneck. And then those culverts that are there's only 3 of them, and they're 96 inches or 7 feet. I'm about 5 feet 6 inches tall, so we're talking about 2 more feet above me. That's how tall they are. I don't know how wide they are. Do you know? But their capacity isn't much, is my point. They don't have much capacity to get all this water out into Thalia Creek. And so when you have this large rain event, it backs up. So there's another problem. Pumping Lake Windsor. Does Lake Windsor have a pump? Anybody know? I'm so glad you know that. I am really glad you guys know that. We're going to talk about pumping Lake Windsor, but first of all, what is a cubic meter? Bob, will you show us what a cubic meter is, please?
Okay, so somebody gets to win the new LG dryer right here. This is a cubic meter. It's 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet.
It's 3-dimensional.
Yes.
39 inches.
Now imagine.
Yeah, 39.37.
Now imagine a cubic meter, and I'm doing this for you because when someone says cubic meter, I'm like, what the heck is that? All right? Because I'm a music major, not a math major, okay? So, and I probably should have paid attention a little better in math and done better, but hey, you know, I passed and that was all that matters. So, in this box right here, you can hold a cubic meter, or let's take it in measurements of volume, 264 gallons, okay? Imagine that box holding 264 gallons of water. Think about what a gallon looks like in your head, and imagine 264 of those filling that box in volume. Now here's something that the city is proposing to do. Pumping. They're proposing to pump out Lake Windsor here, proposing to put a pump over here on Lake Lynnhaven Parkway, and a pump over here on Lynnhaven Road, along with some tide valves and gates. The gates will lift when they need to lift to get the water out, close to make sure the tidal waters, remember I was talking about tidal waters, that's why they want to put these gates here, because you've got these tidal waters coming in and they want to stop those tidal waters from coming in and be able to pump this water out. Now, I want to talk to you about an Olympic-sized swimming pool. An Olympic-sized swimming pool holds an estimated 660,253 gallons of water. Okay? Why is that important? Well, let's look at the Lynnhaven Parkway pump station that's being proposed. How much water do they want to move with this pump station? About 182 of these per second. Want to move 182 of these per second. Okay? 182 cubic meters per second. That would be 48,079 gallons per second being moved out where this is into West Neck Creek. So, if I wanted to drain that Olympic-sized swimming pool with this pump, it would take 14 seconds to do it. It would take 14 seconds to pump out 182 cubic meters, or 48,079 gallons. Let's move to the next pump station up in Lynn Haven Road. How much is the proposal to move this water? 304 cubic meters per second, or 80,308 gallons per second. If I did that with, if I use this pump station in the Olympic-sized swimming pool, 8 seconds. Very good. Who said that? It's a math major there. Very good. So the next one would be in Lake Windsor, which we've been circling around a lot. Let's talk about Lake Windsor. I'm going to put that pump there. How much do they want to pump out? 274 cubic meters per second, or 72,336 gallons per second. And if I put that pump in a swimming pool, how long would it take, Mr. Math Major in the front? Very good. Very good. Let's give him a round of applause. Because I had to go to Google to find that out. Where are they pumping it to? Good question. Well, right here, if we go back, let's just go back. This one is Lynn Haven, this is West Neck Creek. They want to pump that one into West Neck Creek. And they want to pump the one at Lynn Haven Road into the higher portion of West Neck Creek. Remember our map? We had West Neck Creek coming down like this over here. And we had Dahlia Creek coming over here. This would be this one over here, pumping it into West Neck Creek.
Virginia?
Hold on, let me finish your question. And this one right here in Lake Windsor is going into Dahlia Creek up here. So that's where they want to pump it to. Yes?
Okay, but the problem, just my vision is, the problem with that is, if the tide's coming in, and you're pumping it to the other side.
Wait a minute, because I'm going to get into it. I'm going to get into the problem with that. See, I told you. You just got to hang with me here. All right? So we're going to pump this into this tidal water. Okay? Here's your problem, what you're talking about. This is an example of that tidal water. This is Dahlia Creek like a month ago. Okay? This is Virginia Beach Boulevard. This is Dahlia Lynn Baptist. This is right down the road here. Look at this. How many Olympic-sized swimming pools could we fit in there before it gets all the way up? Maybe one or two. But then it's gonna get up there. And what's it gonna do? When you put that pump station in that gate there and you activate it, what's gonna happen? That flood cloud's gonna flood everything. There goes my flood cloud, flooded. That's exactly what you're getting to, right, Kim? Yes. Okay. Did I answer it? So that's the problem that we've identified. Because Bob here, he gets in every nook and cranny that there is where there's water in this town, and he takes a picture of it. And so that's how we knew that Dahlia Creek was as high as it was on a sunny day when it hadn't rained. And that's one problem. That's just our hypothesis of what could happen. All right? I'm not an engineer, I'm not a scientist, I'm a music major and a stay-at-home mom. Yes?
I spent a whole day with the assistant city manager about this thing here, 9 morning till 9 at night. And this is no new rocket scientist for any of them. They know exactly what's going on with this. They could have been working on this 10 years ago and preventing this thing. The thing on Thalia is the primary dump for the whole Virginia Beach area thing there. And he said, what we're going to have to do is make that what used to be a swamp, a new Orleans area, and put gates and pumps around the whole thing. And the thing going out from the Windsor Lake to Thalia River, I said that whole thing there needs to be drained out to handle the capacity. He said, well, we're going to have to call the Army Corps of Engineers on that because we can't touch that. And as far as I know, they haven't started anything with the Army Corps of Engineers yet.
Not to my knowledge, not to my knowledge. But so when this flood cloud goes up there, I get a lot of questions that come in my mind. Okay? A lot of questions come to my mind with this. One of the questions is, what's the cost to develop pump stations and gates? It's a lot of money, okay? Next question, who's going to operate and maintain the pump stations and gates? City workers that we have now, or are we going to have to create new jobs?
We'll adopt them.
My next question is, what's the cost to operate and maintain pump stations and gates? How much is it going to cost to operate them? How much is it gonna cost to maintain them? Because going all the way back to the beginning of this presentation, let's remember, we don't maintain any of this stormwater infrastructure on any sort of regular basis unless we pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I got a problem with my drain. So there is no program that's there right now to do that. And my next question is, how do we pay for it all? Are our taxes going to keep going up? Are our fees going to have to continue to increase? You say continue to increase, that's right. Your stormwater fee that you pay went up last year, it's going up this year, the next year, the next year, and the next year, unless of course we have to call in the Army Corps of Engineers or either some other contractors. Is going to keep going up, 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 up. So those are questions that I have. And I want to run through this real quick so you know what's going on. Make it quick. Yes. Yes.
On the other side of Holland Road, we've got a whole series of 3 and 4-story apartment buildings of concrete, asphalt, that now is blocking, soaking up the water. Now we have fresh water overflowing along with Lake Louise.
Right. So, well, those are, I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to study the city's stormwater infrastructure on their website and find out. But my guess is that those eventually flow into Lake Trashmore, which flows into Lake Windsor, which goes into Delia Creek. But I would encourage you to go to vbgov.com and go to their map system and click on stormwater, and you could study that. That's where I got this information from. So I just want to run through what they're doing in the area just in case you don't know. And you can always go to the Princess Anne Plaza Civic League every single month, and they talk about these things. So these are the current projects going on in Windsor Woods and Princess Anne Plaza. Windsor Woods Canal, or Presidential Canal. And we have Windsor Oaks Canals, Windsor Oaks West Canals over here, Northgate Ditch. They're dredging Northgate Ditch, or they already have, I guess, because it says it was completed in 2018 for the tune of $2 million. They're dredging Windsor Woods Canal, $2 million. Windsor Oaks West 1, $800,000. Windsor Oaks West 2, $835,000. Windsor Oaks West 3, $600,000. It's a $42 million 6-year CIP meaning Capital Improvement Program. Please keep that in mind. You're going to hear that word a lot from the city.